welcome to the Narrowing Path, walking the spiritual walk. My name is Steve Van Eierstein, and thank you for joining me again today for March 5th's reading of James Allen's Daily Meditation. I'm looking forward to it, and just the first 4 days have been quite a good reminder of what's the problem, whose responsibility is it, and how it's freedom is found when we do the work. So it's been great so far. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll continue on March 5th. And this will be fresh to you and fresh to me. That means I haven't read the daily meditation before I read it on this podcast. So you'll get my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading. So it'll be really good to see where it takes us. So here we go. This is March 5th of James Allen's Daily Meditations. Without the right performance of duty, the higher virtues cannot be known. All duty should be regarded as sacred, and its faithful and unselfish performance one of the leading rules of conduct. All personal and selfish considerations should be extracted and cast away from the doing of one's duty. And when this is done, duty ceases to be irksome and becomes joyful. Duty is only irksome to him who craves some selfish enjoyment or benefit for himself. Let the man who is chafing under the irksomeness of his duty look to himself, and he will find that his wearisomeness proceeds not from the duty itself, but from his selfish desire to escape it. He who neglects duty, be it great or small, or of a public or private nature, neglects virtue. And he who in his heart rebels against duty, rebels against virtue. The virtuous man concentrates his mind on the perfect doing of his own duty. This is a fantastic reading. Just a great reminder, especially for me currently where I am in my life. I've got a lot of things going on. And to just have this one come up in this immediate moment is sometimes you just can't predict it, can't make this stuff up. So I'm really excited about just reading this and just how much of it is a fantastic reminder for me that if I just get out of my own way, I'm going to be okay, right? If I just do the next right thing, do the things that I've committed to and what I'm supposed to be doing without the desire to not do them, that's the key, right? Not the selfish desire to escape them. They go a lot quicker, first and foremost. They're a lot less painful. And I'll probably live a whole lot longer. And so it's just right for me. I love how it opens up to, without the right performance of duty, the higher virtues cannot be known. Right? So throughout doing these next right things, following the path that's been laid before us and doing that as well and effectively as we can, are we given the opportunity to know these virtues, whatever those virtues might be, but these higher order virtues almost, like things to aspire to. And he just expands upon that throughout the whole thing. All duty should be regarded as sacred. That's a task in and of itself for me, which you wouldn't think, or I would like to think I don't. That's not true, but the reality of it is, I don't. I find it. I can get selfish sometimes and just find it an inconvenience, not as a privilege almost to be able to do. To be a good employee to my employer, to be a good friend to my friends, to be a good partner to my partner, right? Like, be a good family member to my family. Like, these are duties These are actions needing to be taken that can be done with love and not seem like tasks. I'm in school as well. I could be a good student for my teacher, for my professors. So these are, it's the way we think about these things, right? Not impediments to our life. They are what fill our lives. And they should be regarded as sacred. They should be regarded as such. Because the further away from sacred we get, the more intrusive and obstructive they are to our own peace and serenity. That's been true for me. So, all duty should be regarded as sacred, and its faithful and unselfish performance one of the leading rules of conduct. Faithful, so regular, so consistent, reliable, right? And unselfish. I'm not trying to cut corners because it feels comfortable to do so. I'm not trying to just get through it, but to do it well, thoroughly, and appropriately, and correctly is the leading rules of conduct. How we should conduct ourselves. Well, it's kind of like this. If you're going to do it right. Don't half-ass it. It's been something I've had to work on. The next sentence is, all personal and selfish considerations should be extracted and cast away from the doing of one's duty. That's what I was just kind of alluding to in this, is when I get my selfish desires out of the way, when I get myself out of the way, my self-centeredness, my vanity, my pride, my ego, my whatever it is, when I get myself out of the way, guess what? It goes a lot quicker. I'm a lot happier. I enjoy my job and the task I'm doing, the duty I'm fulfilling in that immediate moment more. I don't resent it as much. I'm able to practice these principles that I talk about so regularly. It's pretty amazing. But I have to make sure I'm doing this right. Right? I have to get rid of my personal and selfish considerations. I have to not make it mine, or not do it in a way that's convenient for me necessarily, but do it correctly. If those two are the same thing, then have at it. But that's the way it should be prioritized, is what your duty is, opposed to what you would prefer it to be, right? That sentence finishes up after the semicolon. He goes, and when this is done, when we remove our personal and selfish considerations, duty ceases to be irksome, and becomes joyful. That's what I was just talking about. Like the ick of whatever it is that's going on, irksome things that bother me, disturb me, or throw me off center. That doesn't happen anymore. It ceases to be irksome and becomes joyful. Duty ceases to be irksome, becomes joyful. I have the joy about it. I have fun with it. That's a whole new thing. Duty is only irksome to him who craves some selfish enjoyment or benefit for himself. So when I want it to be a certain way, or I want it to benefit me in a certain way, or I'm trying to get something out of it for myself, that's when I can start to tell it's an issue. I'm getting in the way. All right? Like that's when I can. That's a good flag to tell me if I'm starting to be selfish and self-centered. Duty is only irksome to him who craves some selfish enjoyment or benefit for himself. So when it starts to become irksome or a problem for me, I'm getting in the way. Let the man who is chafing under the irksomeness of his duty look to himself. There we go. And he will find that his wearisomeness proceeds not from duty itself, but from the selfish desire to escape it. And I get myself out of the way. First of all, it's a lot less exhausting. First and foremost, it's a lot less exhausting to just do what's in front of me and not do what's in front of me on top of trying to manipulate it to be in a way that I enjoy more or I get some more benefit out of. When I just do what I'm supposed to be doing, life goes a lot easier. My duties get performed a lot simpler and more efficiently. The only thing that I can do when it comes to something like that is make it take longer and make it of less quality. Like, those are the things I can do when my selfishness usually gets involved with these things. He who neglects duty, be it great or small, or of a public or private nature, neglects virtue. So this is just saying, regardless of it's something that many people know about or just a couple people know about, whether it's something other people know about at all, or whether it's something private to you, and that can be just like taking care of your physical self, like your physical health, maybe the way you eat, the way you exercise, the way you take just take care of your physical body, right? Great or small, public or private nature. If we neglect any of those, neglect any form of duty, we are neglecting virtue. We're neglecting doing the right thing. We're being selfish. We're being self-centered. We're being self-serving in some way. And that never leads to a good outcome. That's going against virtue. And he who in his heart rebels against duty rebels against virtue. When you push virtue away, or when you push duty away, when you abscond your responsibilities, you're doing the same to virtue. You're abandoning virtue in your own way. In those moments, you're rebelling against it. When things are the duty of yours to be doing, and you're just pushing it away, forcing it upon somebody else to take, it's not a very virtuous act. That's not doing the right thing. That's not living a very spiritual way of living. And what an important message that is. He closes with the virtuous man concentrates his mind on the perfect doing of his own duty. And he says his own duty. Let me be very clear here too. We're not getting all caught up in the doings of anybody else. The virtuous man concentrates his mind on the perfect doing of his own duty. And he said earlier, it becomes joyful when we do that. There's joy and accomplishment, and there's fulfillment in a job well done that I didn't know was possible. Which is pretty amazing. It just is in a lot of ways. So, but a great reading, nonetheless. That's just such a, like I said, appropriate for myself personally, right where I am in life, because instead of getting overwhelmed, I'm being given the opportunity just through this reading to choose to invite it in. Don't fight it. Don't look at all of these things and wish it was different, but invite it in. So, yeah, great reading for me to get to today, and I greatly appreciate it. So thank you, everyone, for jumping on and listening today. If you'd like, go ahead, give our Facebook page a like or a follow, and we'd love to see you over there so you can see the newest things we've shared and any quotes and whatnot. So thank you all for joining me today, and I look forward to tomorrow, March 6th, and we'll go from there. So until next time, thanks.